The fate of Frederik of Denmark was written from the moment of his birth. What no one expected was that a commoner named Mary Donaldson would be admired more in her own country than him. Born in Tasmania, this commoner faced opposition from her mother-in-law, Queen Margrethe. At the outset, no one bet that Prince Frederik's Australian girlfriend, Mary Donaldson, would ultimately win over anyone other than the heir in her icy host country. But she did, and now she is the Queen of Denmark, and at the top of the popularity ratings. What her father-in-law failed to achieve when his wife, Queen Margrethe, took the crown and rose to the pinnacle of nobility, this chestnut-haired woman achieved by straightening out Turbo Prince without a distaste for gastronomy and public Danish life, and speaking one of Europe's most difficult languages fluently and with little accent. However, it never rains to everyone's liking at Amalienborg Palace, and now it's her husband Frederik's turn. Hints are everywhere, and they multiply every time polls show that Mary is more popular today than he is. He spent his whole life waiting to become king for this. The new King Frederik's popularity crisis. In December, a Danish television network published a poll where Mary was named the most valuable member of the royal family in her country, second only to Queen Margrethe and then Prince Frederik. This was before the abdication, and since then the rest of the media has not been so generous to the new monarch. Of course, in Queen Mary's homeland of Australia, she is much more famous than him, so much so that over the weekend after her proclamation, the pub where the royal couple met during the Sydney Olympics created a cocktail named after the new queen. An unprecedented event in the same Australian country that, in February 2023, removed its own royal family, the British, from its banknotes. But in Denmark, and certainly thanks to the influence of Genoveva Casanova, Mary Donaldson's popularity also soared, surpassing that of her husband. A poll conducted by a Danish news agency showed that while 82% of respondents thought Frederik was suitable for the role of king, 86% believed Mary would make a good queen. This result prompted the palace machinery to work on bridging the gap between the spouses. How Frederik of Denmark wants to become more popular than his wife. The office of the new king faced a new problem during Queen Margrethe's reign. It was unthinkable for a royal spouse to surpass the fame of the queen herself, among other things, because this spouse had unclassifiable and disorderly behavior, as disorderly as his own descendants. No matter how many tears Frederik shed greeting his people from the balcony of Christiansborg, he couldn't erase his past of questionable headlines with them. There was a time still remembered by the Danes when their heir to the throne was the main character in the most scandalous and humiliating headlines. There were so many that it was even suggested that Queen's successor would be Prince Joachim, her younger brother. What happened with Genoveva Casanova in part revived this concern. Moreover, the staging of Frederik X's proclamation played a cruel joke on him. Suppose you dress your wife in impeccably white and cling to her like a man shipwrecked clings to a lifebuoy, serving only to elevate her moreover, if possible, to the altar of purity. While Mary was praised for her know-how, the king has been criticized for wearing a year 2500 Shambhala jewels bracelet on his wrist. If it's a gift to the king from Queen Mary, no problem. But if it's a bracelet gifted by Shambhala, then we're in a situation where something's not right, said Jesper Olsen, president of Transparency International in Denmark, to the Danish news channel Dr. Frederik now has to endure such close scrutiny and comparison. Knowing Mary's ascension and his precarious position, King Frederik X decided not to defeat the enemy, but to join her through the manuscript. Everyone was surprised when he published a book immediately after being proclaimed king. The work was a publishing success, portraying Frederik as a modern and deeply in love monarch. What's most pleasing is that it gave him an opportunity to publicly not apologize to his wife, focusing on the many virtues that adorn his perfect partner. This move was so successful that on February 8th, a new book was released, again about himself. This time it tells about the prince's childhood with his brother, the personal transformation he underwent after military service, how he found love and became a loving father of 4 perfect children, just like his wife. As 2 books don't make a trilogy, in March another book will be released, dedicated to the life and work of Frederik X. Let's hope that the editorial strategy will be successful for Frederik of Denmark and allow his wife to help him rise to the Olympus of perfect royal family members.